Hi everybody, it's Jill Blanchett with Green Thumb Stampers. I am here to bring my first alternate project for the Beyond the Horizon paper pumpkin kit. This is the card we're going to make. Okay, so let's get started. Move these out of the way. I made this card using, here's your little kit. We're going to use one envelope, the yellow one, for the wallpaper. And these envelopes are only partial. We don't get the whole, this panel is not printed. But we're going to cut that apart, but I still have pieces, so I'm not going to cut another one. But you're going to cut the sides off, and then you can cut the bottom off, and then you'll be left with this panel and the flap. We're just going to use a piece of the, I'm going to say the panel part, and you're going to use one of these cards. So in your little kit, you'll have all these pieces, or you will want to get a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, score it at 5.5. Oh, I'm sorry, scored at 4 1/4. Nope, score at 5.5. Sorry, scored at 5.5. And then you'll have one layer. I cut it down to the 1/8, but you can cut it to the 1/4 if you want. So if you cut it to the 1/4, it'll be 4 by 5 1/4. You'll have a piece of designer series paper of some sort that I wanted the wood grain to look like a hardwood floor. And this comes from the, I did not bring it over here. It's the, went with the Honeybee Home stamp set in the mini catalog. So, sorry, I don't know the name of it. And then I've got a 1/2 inch by, I'm going to go on the 1/4, so it would be 4 1/4 inch piece of paper, or 4 1/8 if you are doing the 1/8 inch like I did here. So let's then cut your envelope pieces. You're going to want, I went with the cutting it down to 4 1/4. It doesn't need to be that long, you'll see, but I cut them in 1/2 inch strips. So you need 5 strips, and you'll get like 2 cards out of these strips, so, or out of this panel. Because this is obviously the second card I'll be making with it. And if you want more strips, feel free to cut more strips. Cut them skinnier, cut them wider, whatever you so choose. I got one left over. Then we're going to take these strips and glue them down to the Night of Navy panel. And actually I'm going to do that second. I'm going to glue like my flooring down first, so I know where. So I got an idea of where everything's at. Let's go here, and I'm not really paying attention to the video in case anybody's there leaving a comment or anything. I'm not paying attention to that, so you could just know that I will look back, and I apologize that I'm not answering if you're commenting. And so then I'm just going to glue the wallpaper, so to speak, on, and try and place them evenly apart. And then I'm going to do a third one right in the middle, or what appears to be the middle to my eye. You guys know I don't measure a lot of stuff, so I eyeball a lot. So we're gluing down the wallpaper strips, and that's what I'm calling them, wallpaper. And if you want to measure yours and make sure that they're spaced properly, you know, you can. For sake of video time, I'm not. And I can see I've got them not spaced quite right, so, oh, there, that looks a little better. So I've got them hanging over the end here so that I can cut them off, and I knew that they were all going to be the right length. I'm going to come through. You can use your trimmer. I'm just going to use my scissors. I should have my Teflon scissors so that this gunk isn't going to gunk up my scissors. Those Teflon scissors are great for making sure that nothing sticks to them. Otherwise, if you gunk up your scissors, some of the goof off will work, or a magic eraser will work. So now you can go ahead and adhere this to the panel if you want. But what I did was I took my textured embossing folder, and I'm just gonna lay it in there up to the bottom like this, and then I ran it through my Big Shot, or my, you know, Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You think I would call it the right thing by now, wouldn't you? It has been a hot minute since it's been out. So if you get the kit, I haven't done this step for you, but if, you can do this if you have some type of a textured folder. You can go ahead and emboss like I did here. Just gives it another cool element. And then I'm going to glue on, I'm calling this the baseboard. This is like the baseboard of the flooring. And I'm going to glue that across the card like so. Just want to make sure that it's not going to hang off or something if I trimmed it too wide. Sometimes I trim things wider than I need them, or cut them. So this gives you a chance to trim it off if you need to before you glue it down. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down to the card base. So all right. And then in your kit, or if you have the welcoming window bundle, this is the window that's in that bundle. Excuse me. And what you want to do is, if you have a square die, you have somewhat of a square, you'll want to position it onto your card base, this card base, and then you're going to cut around that window. Try and keep the rest of this without cutting it, because we're going to use this in another card. So I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm just going to cut the card off. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down my window to where I want it. And if you hear music in the background, do not own the rights to it. Just trying to have something besides myself to listen to here. So I'm going to put that down like that. And then go ahead, and after you give it a second for your glue to dry, go ahead and cut it out. Again, be careful to preserve the rest of the card, because we're going to use that later. I tried to use minimal supplies with this kit for the alternates, so that you could use them for how they were intended. So we're going to cut out, and now we've got a beautiful mountain scene shining, looking out our window. We're going to pop that up with a couple dimensionals on the back. Like so. So that we got it popped up kind of off our wall a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. Then I have put in your little kit a flower pot that I cut out of the other side of the envelope that was left over. And yours, I tried a couple different things. Yours is going to have a piece of the tear tape on the back, because I was going to glue them all down to the white cardstock, and I didn't. So you have a white piece of cardstock in there too. So this flower pot cutout comes from the Plentiful Plants bundle, and I can't remember if that's retiring in this catalog or not, but go ahead and you like want to trim around, because you want a backing, because all these little pieces, I wasn't exactly sure how to cut them so that they stayed in there, because we want them in there to fill the pot, but we're going to stick the greenery down inside. So let me hold on one second. Let me get, oh no, I'll just use another one. I was going to get the greenery that I had left over from the first one, but I'll show you what I did. So pop your greenery out, weeds, whatever you want to call them, and then I cut them apart like so, and then cut this up the stem like so. So you got 2 left over, and then you've cut 2 off. And then go ahead if you want to like round out this leaf somehow so that it doesn't look like quite the sharp point to it. Then I have some Stampin' Blends. I got the dark crumb cake, and I used that on the stem to try and darken up the stem like so. You can go over it a couple times to darken it up, and it is on, I'm coloring over the green, so it is going to be kind of hard to cover up. And then I've got some dark flirty flamingo, and I'm just going to come in here and color up the flowers a little bit. And again, I'm coloring pink over green, so it's kind of turning it brownish, but I'm using this lighter pink to give it a base. Then I went through with some light polished pink. To help darken it up a smidge. And you might want to go over it a couple times before you call it like done. Give it a minute to soak in. Go back over a couple more times to darken that up. Then I have the dark polished pink that I just kind of went around the edges of it to give it a little bit of shadowy darkness, whatever, because all the plants aren't uniform. So put a little of that on there. Then I can come back through with the light again and kind of blend that. I think I got the light polished pink. Yep. and the light will kind of blend that in a little bit kind of thing. So that's that. And then, oops, I lost my flower pot. Here's my flower pot. So then you want to take your flower and put it through this little slit, like so. And so then that's where the tear tape that's holding all that together, go ahead and put some adhesive on it, either the green glue, something. And I probably, because see, this was how I was going to give it out, but I didn't. I fixed it from there. So we're going to use some green glue. Put some green glue inside here to help keep all these little pieces in place. All right. Then come back and stick the flower stems through the slit in the, like in the pot. So now it shows the pots behind the flowers, and it looks more like the flowers are coming out of the pot, like so. We're going to put dimensionals on the back of the pot. I guess we could probably just do one on the back of the pot. Then I'll cut this one with a couple pieces to put on the flower. Might be a little bit too wide. I'm not trimming it as tiny as I should be for trying to. I'll get a tinier one for this other one. That one was kind of big. And I'll put the, there we go. Then we're just going to peel all the backings off and put it on the floor. Use our goober remover for where our glue seep through. And then I did not bring it over, but if I have a light gray marker, I would, I don't know if you could see it on this one, I would go just underneath the flower pot just to give it some shadow, but I failed to bring that over, but I will do that yet. Then I have in the kit, there will be a piece of white that, this one is not it, but yours will be a 1/2 inch wide by 2 inches long. And we will use the thanks from the stamp set on that. And again, that was what else I forgot, was the stamps, but I'm not going to make you wait for me to get them. I just stamped thanks from the kit on that 1/2 inch by 2 inch piece and then pop it up down here. And then there's our first card from this kit, you guys.